You know, every great city has a story about how it survived. But London's story, it's on a whole other level. It's not just about surviving. It's about a total, complete collapse, and then this spectacular rebirth. It's a city that literally died and was born all over again.
Because the crazy thing is, right under the feet of millions of people walking around today, there's the ghost of another city. A lost capital, buried by time, that actually set the stage for everything that came after.
Yeah, before anyone ever said the word London, the Romans had a name for it, Londinium. And that's where our story starts. Not with some great king or a massive conquest, but with a simple, practical trading post on the River Thames. So, we're going to trace this epic journey, right? From a Roman boomtown, through a terrible crisis and total collapse, to its rebirth as a city of merchants, forging a brand new identity right out of the ashes.
So you might be wondering, how did Londinium even happen? It wasn't built on some old tribal capital. Nope, this was pure Roman opportunism. They founded a settlement around 47 AD at a perfect river crossing, a place that was just made for trade.
And its growth, explosive is the only word for it. In just about a decade, it was already a major commercial hub. By the early 2nd century, its forum and basilica were some of the biggest buildings north of the Alps. This was no backwater town. It was a true, proper provincial capital.
And get this, at its height, an estimated 60,000 people called Londinium home. And we're not just talking Romans here. It was this incredible, diverse mix of people from all over the empire, all drawn there by the promise of commerce and opportunity.
But that kind of prosperity, well, it was fragile. In 60 AD, just a little over a decade after it was founded, the city faced a crisis that would literally burn it to the ground and leave this permanent scar on its psyche.
The Roman historian Tacitus, he paints this absolutely chilling picture. During the revolt led by Queen Boudica, the Roman governor basically decided the city couldn't be defended. So he just abandoned it, and everyone who couldn't get out with his army was left to their fate.
And that fate was brutal. Boudica's army burned Londinium to the ground. And this isn't just a story, okay? Archaeologists find the evidence everywhere. This very distinct, thick red layer of burned debris that tells the tale of total and utter destruction.
The city was eventually rebuilt, but the trauma of that event, it just never went away. Over a century later, the Romans took on this massive project that was born directly from that fear, the London Wall. This thing was colossal. It wasn't just a boundary, it was a statement. It was a 1,600-year-long reminder that this city would never be left defenseless again.
But here's the thing about walls. They can't protect a city from the decay of an entire empire. The end of Roman London wasn't some big, dramatic event like Boudica's revolt. No, this was a slow, quiet fade into nothing.
It all started in the early 5th century. To defend other parts of its crumbling empire, Rome just pulled its legions out of Britain. Suddenly, the military and administrative backbone of the whole province was gone.
And without that Roman network, the city's entire reason for existing, trade, just evaporated. The port that was once so busy fell silent. The economic engine just sputtered and died.
So by the end of the 5th century, the great Roman capital of Londinium was nothing more than a ghost town. Just a huge walled-in space filled with crumbling, empty buildings. The first London was dead.
But this is where the story gets truly remarkable. After this period of being completely abandoned, a new chapter began, not with Romans, but with Anglo-Saxons.
Now, this new Anglo-Saxon settlement was called Lundenwic, and they didn't build it inside the old Roman walls. Instead, they set up their trading port about a mile to the west, in the area we now know as Aldwych. They just left the old Roman city to rot.
The Great Reunification, the moment it all came back together, happened in the late 9th century. Faced with Viking invasions, King Alfred the Great saw the incredible strategic value of those old Roman defenses. He moved the Saxon population from Lundenwic back inside the protective hug of the London Wall, and he refounded the city as Londonborough. London was reborn. And this new London was going to have a completely different character. Its power wasn't going to come from some distant Roman governor. No, it would grow from the ground up, driven by its own citizens and their own ambitions. And this happened in stages. First, they managed to get royal charters that granted them specific rights, like electing their own officials. Then came the guilds, these really powerful groups of craftsmen who controlled quality and trade. And finally, They established a commune, which was basically a formal recognition of their right to govern themselves.
So with all these building blocks in place, medieval London started to forge this unique identity. It wasn't one defined by some emperor's decree, but by civic pride, commercial law, and a really fierce independence.
You start to see all these new structures of power pop up. The very first mayor, a civic headquarters at the guild hall, a whole system of wards and councils. This was a city run by its own people for its own people, all centered on regulated trade and local justice.
I mean, the contrast is just stark. Roman Londinium was an outpost of an empire, run by a governor sent from Rome, defended by legions. Medieval London was a self-governing corporation, run by an elected mayor and defended by its own citizens. The only constant? That massive Roman wall that protected them both.
London's story is just this powerful testament to resilience. It's a reminder that a city is so much more than its buildings or its walls. It's an idea that can die, lie dormant for centuries, and then be reborn even stronger with a completely new identity. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. How many cities ever truly get a second chance to be born?